Hey guys, thank you so much for coming and clicking on this video. I'm super excited about today because today I'm actually talking about self-care. And self-care is something that is super important, but I probably within the last 4 years really started implementing and just being more aware of how often I'm implementing it and in what ways I'm implementing it. It's super individualized. It really is based on you. And so I'm not really going to be saying this is how you practice self-care, but in this video I'm going to be saying ideas of things that could possibly work for you. Hopefully the things that I say, they will resonate with you, and hopefully it'll be a lot easier to start implementing self-care on your own, because I think that some people get a little overwhelmed, or it's just like I don't even know where to start. And I think that that's kind of what it was like with me. I didn't really know how to practice self-care, and I would just kind of be doing things for other people but not for myself. I wanted to start off this video by explaining what self-care is. So the World Health Organization defines self-care as the ability of individuals, families, and communities to promote health, prevent disease, maintain health, and cope with illness and disability with or without the support of a health worker. And the importance of self-care, which I was really happy to see highlighted in an article, is that the practice of self-care also reminds both you and others, that is super important, and others, that your needs are valid and a priority. It is not some completely self-centered practice. You are helping yourself so that you have the opportunity and the ability to help others. Moving away from the more technical, research-based stuff, I wanted to talk about how to practice self-care, which is the main focus of today's video. There are options. It's not one way is the right way. It's not my way or the highway. That's not what self-care is. That is not what I'm trying to put onto you guys. It is whatever you need, give yourself that. Provide yourself with that. If you have a self-care routine, this video might help you have more ideas that might not already be there. And then if you don't have a self-care routine, hopefully this video will help you build your self-care routine and have a bit of a foundation for it. It's really important to get into that routine, and especially if you're having a really stressful week or you're just in a lower point in your life because of something that's happening at work, at school, family, whatever it might be, you can definitely increase the amount of things that you do for your self-care. It can fluctuate. It doesn't have to be, I do it once a week and that's it. If I'm stressed, I'm still only doing it once a week. No, if you need it more 1 week or 1 month, that's totally fine. Again, whatever you need, give it to yourself. Provide yourself with that. I'm going to be breaking up this video into 3 different sections. So the first section is going to be called the little things. Number 1 is get ready for bed and or go to sleep a little earlier than usual. I know for me, I'll be really stressed out, or I'll have like a bunch of assignments or projects that I have to get done, and I'll force myself to stay up and get it all done, and then I'll end up going to sleep super late. And that's not good. Sleep is super important. For the next day, you want to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to go. You might get that work done that day by staying up, but then for the next who knows how many days, you'll feel those after effects of being tired during the day, and you might not get as much done during those days as you would have if you had just gone to sleep at your regular time that first day. And prioritize your sleep. You can't get sleep back once you lose it. So it's super, super important to make sure that you're getting those hours in that you need to wake up feeling rested the next day. Sleep alone is already kind of individualized. Some people need more to feel well rested, and other people need less to feel well rested. It can literally also just be how old you are. Based on how old you are, your sleep, your recommended sleep is different. So super individualized, but bottom line, just make sure that you're prioritizing your sleep because it's really important short term and long term. Number 2 is allow yourself privileges. This can be a piece of dessert, watching a movie or a show. If you already let yourself do that, then maybe it's watching an extra episode or watching another movie. Really, just anything that you put restrictions on. Give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. Let yourself have just a little bit more of it because you deserve it. You work hard and you're dealing with things internally, externally, things that people might not be seeing, but you're definitely feeling on the inside. Make sure that you are looking within, seeing yourself from the inside as well, and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. Even if it's not outwardly noticeable that you're struggling, it doesn't matter. You know you, and if you're having a hard time and you need just a little bit of an extra boost, practice self-care. Although I should warn, this one you have to be a little careful with because you don't want to constantly be giving yourself these privileges because then they won't be privileges anymore. So you still have to make sure that when you do this, it's still something extra. It's something that you're allowing yourself to do that's not normal. Make sure that you space it out. And again, make sure that it is something that is still a privilege in your mind. Number 3 is exercise. It's so important. It's a little thing because this helps with not only your mental health, but also your physical health. So this is like getting 2 things done at one time, which is why, again, it's a little thing. It would be a big thing if it only was helpful to your mental health or only helpful to your physical health, but it does both. And getting 2 things done at once, that is a little thing. That is a bargain. So definitely make sure that you implement this into your self-care routine. It's not just working out means I'm bettering myself physically, it's also bettering yourself mentally. You can just go out for a walk. It can be to a park, it can be around your neighborhood, it can be around your school. You can walk to buy yourself lunch. Obviously, you can go running, you can go to the gym. Those are other options. But something that I want to highlight is when exercising, try your best to be free of distractions. Focus your mind and your energy onto what it is you're doing. The movement, your breathing, your positioning. Let it be an escape. Take yourself into a good place. I know sometimes when I'm like just getting back into working out, I'll just be kind of miserable. So make sure that you're getting yourself into a good headspace. This isn't a punishment. This is something that you're doing to better your mental and your physical health. Any negative emotions that you have inside, any stresses from the day, from that week, from that month, from the year, channel that into your routine, your exercise, your walk, your run. Channel that negative emotion into what it is that you're doing and release it. The last one for this section is be kind to yourself. Now, I was actually debating whether to put this as a little thing or in the next section, which is big things. because being kind to yourself can be hard. But I think that putting it in little things is a step in the right direction, because being kind to ourselves should really be second nature. We shouldn't be putting ourselves down as much as we do. It's important to, I know the saying is we're our own worst critic, but I think that we should be our cheerleader, the one who has the most confidence and faith in ourselves, because we know everything that we've been through, we know everything that we've been taught. We are the only ones who have lived our specific life. Even like twins or triplets, they can have the same experiences, but in their minds are all different. So it's still like everybody's such an individual. Things can be so different even with people who grow up in that same environment. I know something that I do is actually something that my therapist had told me about, which is saying little phrases. I think that doing those in the mirror could be helpful. Maybe it's because I'm not used to it, but I feel a little uncomfortable doing it in the mirror. I'll just do it I'll just read it out loud to myself, but I won't look at myself in the mirror when I'm doing it. We can remember that we can also rely on ourselves, that we're strong and we can handle things. That was a super long segment about being kind to yourself, but I hope I got that message across. It's really, really important, and I really hope that you guys work on being kinder to yourself. Self-care is something that's easy to do, but it's also something that you have to practice and you have to work on. So the next section is called bigger things. Now, these are things that might be a little bit more materialistic. They might cost money. The little things, it was more internal things that you could do, think positive thoughts, those kinds of things. Just look up a YouTube video and do some exercise, things that you can do on your own with little to no extra like money or equipment, those kinds of things. So number one is treat yourself to a little luxury. This could be changing up your style. You could get a haircut, you could get new clothes. This could also be getting your nails done, buying something new that you wanted, a bag, some shoes, things that you want, not necessarily things that you need. This is something that gives you some satisfaction. This is a treat. This is something that I'm getting myself because I've been working hard and I deserve to have a little extra something. This is like getting a cherry on top of your ice cream. And another one is making plans. You can hang out with friends. You can go on a trip. It doesn't have to be a huge, go on a plane somewhere trip. It can just be going somewhere for the day. Some people like fishing. I don't like fishing. If you like fishing, that's something, a day trip, go fish, come back. That way something special that you got to do. It doesn't have to be a huge vacation, just something that gets you out of your everyday environment, something that changes things up. I think you're kind of starting to pick up on the theme, making sure that you deviate from your normal routine, giving yourself something extra, something special, something that hopefully rejuvenates you and gets all those worries and stresses and negativity out of your mind, even if it is just for a little bit. Now, the final thing that I wanted to talk about that I excluded from my other two lists was journaling. For journaling, I am definitely not an expert on it. I really, really struggle with journaling. It is not something that I do very often at all. And I would say that the way I journal is different from how a lot of other people journal. But what I'm going to say about journaling is make sure that you make it for you. You can write anything and everything that you want. Don't have any filters on yourself. Don't have any expectations. Don't set rules or guidelines. You can do whatever it is that you want to do to count as your form of journaling. I personally don't write like today, blah, 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 blah. I write poems. Normally, I only write poems when I'm in a negative space, which not the best. You want to also make sure that you focus on the positive things. But like I said, I write poems. That's not something that I hear a lot of people doing as their form of journaling, but that's just my form of journaling. I count that as journaling for me. So you can take note in that. It doesn't have to be written in the conventional form. Your journal doesn't have to be written in a paragraph. It can be however you want it to be. It can be pictures. It can be on your phone. It can be on paper, wherever you want to write it, wherever you want. You can even like do a voice memo. It doesn't have to be a physical thing. It doesn't have to be written or text. It can be audio. However you need it, however you want it, that is what you should do. Self-care, once again, all about you. Whatever is best for you, whatever fits and feels right for you, do that. You don't even have to read it or listen to it back once you're done. If it's a physical thing, burn it if you want. If it's on your phone, delete it if you want. Whatever you feel will help you, then that is what is going to help you. I like reading my poems back just because when I'm removed from that situation because of like time that's gone by, it helps me look back on it and kind of reflect. And it also allows me to see my progress. I can look back on what I was struggling with 1 month and see if I'm still struggling with it, or if I feel like, yeah, I'm struggling with it, but not as much as I was before. And I can pat myself on the back. This is what I've been doing so that doesn't affect me this much. And you can kind of like curate the way that you handle situations and not treat yourself, but comfort yourself after those kinds of situations. You can write down, you can add to your notes, your journals. You can add like later, okay, now that I've been removed from this, now that it's been a week or a couple weeks, this is how I feel about this situation now. If you're in therapy, it can help you remember things that you want to talk about with your therapist. I understand why people are so set on journaling. They're like, journaling is the best thing. I totally understand. I feel like I'm talking and I keep coming up with more reasons as why journaling is a good thing, and reasons or things that you can do with your journal entries. It's a really good tool and it's self-care. I think it's pretty easy thing to do. Write about your feelings, write about your day. Essentially though, do whatever makes you happy and makes you feel at ease. There are countless other activities that I didn't mention that you can partake in, like cleaning, drawing, surfing, coding, baking, building. In my opinion, as long as you're not harming yourself or others, do it. because you definitely deserve it. Let me know all about your self-care routines. If you don't have one, let me know what things from this video you're gonna add to your self-care routine to create it, and keep me updated. It's very like trial and error, and you're just gonna change things however you feel they help you cope better. Journaling, you might think that one way works now, and later you find out that actually this way works better. Don't box yourself into anything. You are free to change whatever you need to, whenever you need to. Please, please take care of yourself, and I hope to see you guys super, super soon.